I've had the Chase Sapphire Preferred for almost 2 years at this point, and while this card gives me a ton of value, mainly by allowing me to transfer my Chase points out to Chase's travel partners, I've actually always kind of felt like the Chase Sapphire Reserve might be the better choice for me. As I've been traveling more and more recently, I can really understand the desire to have consistent airport lounge access, TSA pre-check and global entry for getting through security quick, and all these other little benefits that I've been missing out on. So for those reasons, as well as the fact that I have this YouTube channel where I want to share my opinions on as many credit cards out there based on my personal experience, I decided that I was going to go ahead and upgrade my Chase Sapphire Preferred to the Chase Sapphire Reserve. I'm very confident that I will personally be able to get plenty of positive value from this card and its hefty $550 annual fee every year, and that's just with a few benefits that this card offers. So instead of just following the hype for the Platinum card, I decided I might as well put that one on hold for a little bit longer. That way I can test out the Chase Sapphire Reserve, not only for my personal benefit, but also for the benefit of y'all who watch my channel and want to see genuine personal reviews of credit cards, which I hope you've come to enjoy from my channel. And just to run you through really quickly what actually prompted me to make this upgrade, let me go ahead and tell y'all a few of the main reasons, and while this isn't an exhaustive list, I think it'll give you a pretty decent idea of why I'm going to get value from the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So for one, the Chase Sapphire Reserve just has better earning categories for travel specifically. It also gives you a redemption bonus of 50% for all travel booked through Chase's Ultimate Rewards portal, which now makes my minimum redemption rate for travel with my Chase points 1.5 cents per point. It also, of course, is going to give me the same access that the Chase Sapphire Preferred did to Chase's travel partners, who I love. It's going to give me an all-inclusive Priority Pass Select membership. So that means I'm not only going to get access to the Priority Pass lounges, but I also get access to the spas and restaurants associated with Priority Pass as well, which is a perk that only a couple of other credit cards out there actually give you. Plus, it's also going to give me access to the Chase Sapphire lounges, and more specifically, the one that I'm most excited about is the Chase Sapphire Terrace Lounge in the Austin airport, because that is my home airport. While that airport lounge is not super nice or anything, it is just going to give me that consistent airport lounge access that I've been looking for. Plus, it also is going to give me Lyft Pink for 2 years, which is obviously going to make all of my Lyft rides much cheaper. And that Lyft Pink membership actually gives you Grubhub Plus for a year as well. So I'll be double dipping there, also being able to use that Grubhub Plus in combination with my Amex Gold Grubhub credit. So it's just a win-win there. And honestly, there are many more reasons than just those I listed, but those are some of the main ones. I did actually just make a full video breaking down the Chase Sapphire Preferred versus the Chase Sapphire Reserve, explained why I personally decided to make this upgrade fully in detail, and then also showed you the full upgrade process with a live call that I had with Chase customer service. So if you want to get a full picture of this entire experience, be sure to watch that video after this one. Now, before we jump into the unboxing, I'm actually really excited to tell y'all about the sponsor of today's video, that being Max Rewards. And you may be wondering, well, you've had Max Rewards as a sponsor for a while, so why are you excited today? And that is because Max Rewards recently revamped their entire app, basically overhauling it from the ground up. And I am stoked for what's to come with this app, and I just want to tell you a little bit more about it here today. The first thing I want to mention, which is, something that everybody cares about with the app, is that they have updated their connectors. So now you should have less issues connecting, from Max Rewards to your banks. They're constantly working on improving this, and while there are still going to be times when it's down, it should be a lot better now, which is great. On top of that, as you can see here, the whole interface is just different than it was before, but all of the helpful information that they gave you before is still here, and even more of that helpful information is to come. So of course, on the home screen, we still have access to see when all of our bills are due. We can go to our general account overview and see all of our cards at a glance. You can also see your credit scores with each of the banks that you're linked to right here in your app. Of course, you have your transactions and the summary of your transactions for the week, month, or year as well. Plus, you can still choose the correct card to use depending on what category you're spending in or the location that you're currently in, which allows you to get the most value back from your cards at all times. They have a full tab dedicated to benefits, both for your categories that the benefits are in, as well as just a home page where you can see all of the benefits you have active on your cards. And of course, they still have the offers tab, which tells you what offers you have active on your cards, as well as how many offers you've redeemed this year, which I think is pretty cool. That was an extremely quick overview of the app, and I'll be doing more dedicated reviews of each part in the future. But if you do want to get 1 free month of Max Rewards Gold, you can do so at the link in my description. And after you download the app through that link, you can enter the promo code Spencer whenever you sign up for your account. And that is going to be how you get that 1 free month of Max Rewards Gold. Now let's get into the part you've all been waiting for, the unboxing of the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Okay, so now I went ahead and got my camera flipped over, and we can just go ahead and unbox everything that came with this Chase Sapphire Reserve. So since this was a product change, the first thing it actually came with is this paper right here that basically just tells me all about my new account terms. So if we open it up and look at it a bit more, the main, important items down here are going to be all of the revised terms for my card. So the previous terms are all going to have to do with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and then the revised terms are obviously all to do with the Chase Sapphire Reserve. And it looks like that the effective date of all these revised terms is 12/24/2023. I made this product change at the end of October, so I imagine that difference in time has to do with them, updating it based on my billing cycles. But it's good to know that they will send you this paper just so you know what your new terms are. But as for getting into the unboxing of the card itself, they did send this with UPS Express. Once again, the same story with the unboxing of my Marriott Boundless credit card. I think this was actually sitting out in our package box for a few days, but I left it out there on accident, so I technically got this probably within like 1 to 2 days, but I didn't pick it up until probably 5 days later. I did go ahead and blur out all of my information here, so whenever I'm pulling all this out, you're gonna see that I did already open it, but obviously had to keep my information private here, so hopefully you understand that. But now we are into the actual envelope that contains the Chase Sapphire Reserve. The first thing that it says right here is just, it's time to explore Chase Sapphire Reserve. Got the Sapphire Reserve branding on the back as well, but let's go ahead and see what's inside. So of course on top here, we're going to have the paper that actually includes the Chase Sapphire Reserve in it, while also telling you how to activate it and stuff like that. But as you can see, it's pretty heavy here on one side, so I guess the Sapphire Reserve is a pretty heavy card itself. But before we get into that part, let's go ahead and just look at this one other thing that's in the package. And remember that I did product change to the Chase Sapphire Reserve, so if you applied fresh, maybe you do get a few more pieces of paper and stuff like that. But this is my experience with it, so I'm just gonna show you how it is. Basically, this pamphlet here is just going to tell us all about, the different benefits with our card, including that $300 annual travel credit, that 50% point boost whenever you, book travel through Chase's Ultimate Rewards portal, and a bunch of other stuff as well. So it's just good to be able to look through this stuff, in paper form, but of course, we understand exactly what we're getting into before product changing to this card, so this isn't extremely helpful to us. It also includes all the legal information here if you wanted to read through it. I'm not personally going to be doing that, but it is good to know that it is here once again in paper form if you wanted to read it before looking for it online if you ever needed it. But now that we've gone through literally the only other thing in that entire envelope, let's get into the actual unboxing of this card. First of all, I want to note here that as I mentioned in my video about why I upgraded to the Reserve, I mentioned that I did a credit limit increase before actually doing the product change. So you can see here that my credit access line is $16,800. Before I did the credit limit increase, it was at like $10,100. So obviously a pretty good increase there. But without further ado, let's go ahead and open up this card here in 3, 2, 1, and there it is. I honestly really like how they basically made this card actually black with just some blue accents on it. Maybe kind of hard to tell through the video, but this card is much, much darker than the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Let me go ahead and grab both of them so you can see. So yeah, as you can see here, this is the Reserve coloring. And then if you look at the Sapphire Preferred, it's much brighter. And honestly, the Reserve looks a lot more like the older version of the Chase Sapphire Preferred. And now I kind of see the hype behind the old version of the Preferred because this one does not look quite as nice. But what else we have on this paper, once again, is going to be just a summary of some of the biggest benefits on this card, which is cool to see. But let's go ahead and pull this card off of the paper and look at it in a little bit more depth. So as you can tell on the front of the card here, we have the Chase logo with Sapphire Reserve across the top. This is kind of like engraved into the card itself, so it looks pretty fancy. And the same thing goes with my name down here and the chip, of course. Like I said before, it is basically an all black card with these blue accents in the top corner, so I think it looks pretty good. And then flipping it over to the back here, you can see once again, it's basically just a full black backing. And of course, you're going to have the important information of your card here, like the name, the card number, the card expiration date, as well as the security code right here. Then you have the numbers that you can call to, reach out to Chase Sapphire, which is the number that I called actually to product change to this card in the first place. You also have the Visa Infinite logo down here, which is one difference from the Sapphire Preferred. Sapphire Preferred is a Visa signature, so this is a bit of a step up to the Visa Infinite. And then of course, this is a tap to pay card, so you have that logo down here as well. So here are both of the cards in frame for you. I know it's a bit dark because I have this black background and this card itself is black, but hopefully you can still, make a good picture out here. And then here are the backs of both cards as well. So you can see obviously pretty different in the coloring, but overall same exact layout. One thing I will note between these two is that the Sapphire Reserve is definitely a heavier card. I'm not exactly professional enough to have a scale here and stuff to tell you exactly how heavy it is, but I can tell you it feels much more premium than the Sapphire Preferred. Even when it comes to like bending this card, I feel like it has a good amount of flex in it, the Preferred at least. Whenever you come to the Reserve, it's a lot stiffer. Like I'm bending the same exact force here and it's really not moving much. So I think this one has much more metal in it than the Preferred does. So for paying that more hefty annual fee, at least you get that. This card also does pick up fingerprints like crazy though. You can see I literally just started holding this card and it already has fingerprints all over it. That is something I noticed like right off the bat, and obviously not a big deal at all, but it's just kind of something interesting, I guess. But overall, I feel like I'm much more happy to bring this card out of my wallet than even the Preferred. Back whenever I got the Preferred, I felt like this was the most, fancy card that I ever had, and I was so excited to use it all the time. But I think that the Reserve's design and feel is one much better than the Preferred. And then comparing it to my other metal credit cards, I have the Amex Gold here, which, you know, is probably built fairly similarly to the Reserve. Honestly, the Reserve feels even stiffer than the Gold card. And then the Venture X is probably the best comparison. They feel very similar. And I think that the Reserve looks much better than the Venture X, honestly. But these are the two in my wallet that are probably the most comparable, at least in feel. But there you have it. That was the full unboxing of my new Chase Sapphire Reserve card that I'm extremely excited to be able to start using. And if you want to see that video I was talking about earlier, where I compared the Chase Sapphire Preferred to the Reserve, told you exactly why I'm upgrading to it, and showed that full upgrade process live, be sure to go ahead and watch this video next. And as always, Odin and I both want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and we'll catch you guys next time.